The Ravens have a chance to match the Steelers atop the AFC North. One of my favorite rivalries in all of football. Jay, set the mood for this weekend's game.
Whew. You got to love Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Harbaugh versus Tomlin. I think Harbaugh leads 20-15. They've all been close. Like half of the game has been within 3 points or less. It's going to be a great game. It always is. It's always going to come down to a field goal or something like that. So with that being said, Colt McCoy, did you have a pep talk with Justin Tucker or not? We got to have it done. He's got to make some big kicks. But right now, I really feel like Baltimore is starting to emerge as one of the top teams again. I know they've been up and down all year long, but Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdowns last week, 40-something points. Russell Wilson without Pickens is struggling on offense. Their running game's not very good. Even if it is good, that's Baltimore's strength of stopping the run. Now they're going to have to throw the ball to who? Hopefully Pickens plays to give them a chance. But overall, I think Baltimore is a much better team. Obviously, Pittsburgh's well coached. Russell Wilson's a veteran guy. He can get it done. And they have a very good defense. There's no doubt about it. So at the end of the day, stats out the window, bloodbath, but I'm taking a better team, Baltimore Ravens.
It's always a fun matchup to watch in the AFC North when these two face each other. Justin, last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled against the Philadelphia Eagles. We understand the Philadelphia Eagles are very, very good. They are struggling to generate big-time plays without Pickens. How can they get that done this weekend?
There's one guy that popped out on film to me, and that was Calvin Austin. He was able to get in there and find the little nooks and crannies, make some plays. Freiermuth had some plays, getting the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands quickly. I actually like they brought Justin Fields in for a quarterback design run. I think we could see more of that in this game. But really, it comes down to the trainer. We need George Pickens on the field. We need to be able to throw those moon balls up to George Pickens, let him run under it and get it. The Steelers' offensive line is not playing well this season. There's always seems to be a miscommunication here, a penalty there. And then, obviously, it's continuing to get Najee and Jalen Warren involved. But the two names that I really saw that popped on film was Calvin Austin. Freiermuth had a couple good catches. So those are two names I need to step up. And then whoever the head athletic trainer is, we need you to have a week. Get the laser on the hamstring. Get George Pickens back out there because where has Mike Williams been? That's my biggest question mark. Like I would say let's get him more involved, but I'm wondering where he's at on film. He's getting one catch a game right now.
He was nowhere to be found with the Jets. He's nowhere to be found now. Maybe that's why we talked about the Chargers got rid of him. But there's also a problem with the Steelers. They got to do better on third down. They only had the ball for like 35 plays last week. So they got to keep drives alive somehow, keep their defense fresh. Because if their defense isn't fresh, they have no chance to stop Baltimore. I don't care what you say about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This Baltimore offense is awesome. They have to really give the defense some rest and keep the ball, possess the ball for some 10, 12, 14 play drives.
But it was penalties, Jay. You can't keep drives alive. It's third down. It's untimely penalties. They had a chance to go down and score early in the Eagles game. Najee, they had a quick out to Najee in the flat, and they get a penalty on the play, and it comes back, and you're not converting 12 or second and 20s. That's just is way tougher to convert. We say it always: penalties, turnovers, red zone efficiency, and third down. And they're not doing any of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, situational football, right, Jay?
Hell yeah.
It comes down to it every time. Hey, Colt, listen, last time they played, Lamar Jackson struggled. He missed a lot of balls, and he wasn't running when he had wide open lanes. It was just, I think he's trying to force himself to be in a pocket passer too much. What can he do differently this game than he did from the last game?
Yeah, he's just got to build off what he did last week. 5 touchdowns. Listen, I don't know if you can look back. Maybe you can, but at any of the games where Lamar Jackson's been beat playing quarterback when the other team only kicked field goals, right? The Steelers beat him with 6 field goals last time. I don't think that's going to happen again. I think, Justin, I know Lamar is your MVP right now, and he certainly could go out here and play well. Mike Tomlin has had his number, though. Just when you look at the entirety of the Steelers-Ravens matchups, he never has played, had a breakout game against them and this is an opportunity for him to go out there and play great.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we see Lamar Jackson play the way he's capable of. And you know what else is capable? This channel. That's why we got to 10,000 subscribers. That is exactly why we got to 10,000. Let's keep this thing rolling. Get us to 20,000. Take us to the moon, everyone. We appreciate everyone following along. Drop a like, hit the subscribe, and let's get this thing. 20,000 sounds great. Let's get to 100,000, huh, boys? Let's get to 100,000.
Hey, did you guys see Lamar juking people out while he's pulling his pants up so his pants wouldn't fall down?
Yes.
Okay, he's just toying with people. I know he's great, Justin. Relax.
Can we
He's
just?
still
Can we
not gonna
just?
be the MVP.
I'm not going to say he is the MVP, but in our league, which is a "What have you done for me lately?" It's a "What have you done for me lately?" league. If Lamar goes out there against the Steelers and Texans, who are very good defenses, goes out and wins the AFC North, you're telling me he doesn't have a chance to win the MVP?
I love Lamar. I'm a biggest Lamar fan on the planet, but he ain't going to win MVP. Sorry.
Of course, he's a Lamar fan. He went to Louisville, but he's also all in. He's also all in on that number 17 up in Buffalo. I know that much.
I've never seen anything like this guy. Ever.
I'm just saying, Josh Allen definitely is the odds-on favorite. What he's doing, I mean, that rollout to the right, and he sends Keon Coleman and hits him on a dime, like that was incredible.
The rollout to the left, and he throws it up against the grain sidearm to James
Cook. The middle, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's sick.
It was unbelievable.
He's definitely sitting in the captain's seat. I'm just saying, Lamar's there lurking. There's no reason these next 2 weeks Lamar couldn't go and snatch it from him.
Well, one thing both those teams have are good offensive lines. Let's talk about another team that has an offensive line that maybe isn't as good as these guys. Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. I know my thoughts on it, but I'm going to go to Justin on this one.
AQ, you were an offensive lineman there in Pittsburgh. It is ingrained in the DNA of that city to have a hard-nosed offensive line that's going to line up and be the bully. AFC North, it's what you've come to expect. And when you turn on the film of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are not the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line of old. They aren't getting up in your face. In pass protection, I just see them being soft, getting back. They're having MEs in the run game. They're having untimely penalties. They have unblocked linebackers. They have people in the box that shouldn't be, that they should have a hat for, and they don't. So that definitely falls on the offensive line. But it was a one-possession game, and Najee Harris boots a fumble and gives it right back to Philadelphia and effectively ends that game. So there is enough blame to go around to the entire Pittsburgh Steelers offense, but the offensive line has to play better, especially this week if they have a chance to beat the Baltimore Ravens, who have, I don't want to say a great defensive line, but they have a stout front seven that can give you problems if you aren't blocking them.
Yeah, in my opinion, the center's the only guy that's a legitimate starter on their offensive line, and they're going to need to play much better. Colt, we've talked about this a bunch. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, they continue to win games. Obviously, they lost last week, but they're always winning games, finding ways to win, despite skill, in my opinion, right? At some point, skill needs to win out, right? Can this team continue to make a push and contend in the AFC? Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
I don't know. Not if Pickens doesn't come back and play. Not if they can't figure out ways to create explosive plays. I mean, listen, you're right. Like when you watch the Steelers, they just figure out ways to win. And skill is a huge part of their offense and their ability to be successful and their ability to create explosive. When we watch them play, like the games that they win are games where they push the ball down the field a little bit or send a screen for 60 yards to the house, whatever that is. The other thing to watch is is TJ Watt going to be healthy? He's banged up. He walked off the field last week. Like his availability makes a big difference when you're playing in Baltimore in the division against a guy like Lamar Jackson. Like if he's not able to play, I mean that's a huge loss for the Steelers and their ability to just create ways to win. But at the end of the day, you're right. Like somebody's got to start making some plays down the field. Hopefully Pickens can get healthy soon.
You guys got to talk about the defense. Their defense isn't playing that great either. Now, they gave up 27 to Philly. They couldn't get off the field. A 10-minute drive to end the game. You have 38 to Cincinnati. They gave 24 to Cleveland in the last 4 games. So they got to figure out ways to get turnovers on defense and make something happen as well. Give them a short field every now and then and play like the old Pittsburgh Steeler defense. They don't look like the old Pittsburgh Steeler defense. Russell can't make any big plays. I don't think this game's going to be close, but history says it always is.
Let's see if we can convince Gruden to go back and take the Steelers somehow here, AQ.
Here we go. We'll start, and we'll just kind of twofold this question. Is it the best rivalry in sports? And then I also want you to give your prediction on who wins this game.
I'll start with me. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is one of the best rivalries in the NFL. I mean, I played in the NFC North for a couple of years. Obviously, we weren't very competitive being the Cleveland Browns, but back in the day when it was, the Roethlisberger and Palomalu and James Harris and all those guys going against Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. And, that's how I cut my teeth in the NFL watching that game. It was the runouts when you play at Baltimore, the fire and the fans. It's fun. And I think Baltimore wins this one. I think Lamar is playing good football. He threw 5 touchdowns last week. Derrick Henry didn't, really get all that involved. I think just their ability to do it in a lot of different ways. They're going to figure out the best, sort of way to beat the Steelers this week. I think, TJ Watt being a little bit hobbled, their defense, like Jay said, not playing great over the last few weeks. This one means a lot to Baltimore. I like them in this one.
Jay, who you got?
Rivalry-wise, I got to go with the Redskins and Cowboys historically. Now that they're the Commanders, maybe not so much, but back in the day.
Because we might be going back to the Redskins.
Yeah, hopefully they go back. But, yeah, I think that's the best rivalry. Redskins, Cowboys, 49ers. Obviously those are 2 huge ones in my memory and my past. But I think Baltimore needs to relax. I feel like when they play Pittsburgh, they tense up and they get a little nervous and they got to make a play. Just relax, Lamar. Be yourself. Be Lamar Jackson from the University of Louisville. Just gut the Steelers. They got nothing for you, man, on defense. Get after their ass. Play after play after play. Relentless. Get after them. Baltimore, easy victory.
Justin, rivalry and prediction of the game.
I'm going to get out of the 1970s and 80s where Gruden's going back to some of his rivalries. The Redskins haven't been good in a while to put them in the top, rivalries in sports right now. I would say Eagles and the Cowboys would be one that you would look to before the Commanders and the Cowboys.
Out of your mind.
Those Seattle, San Francisco battles they had for a short period of time were great, but this has to be the best rivalry in sports. The Ravens and the Steelers, no matter what happens, they're throwing punches. It is going to be a bloodbath. I'm going to go Ravens in this one. I don't think it is close either. I think Lamar continues to march towards the NFC North title. It is within his reach. The Steelers, even if they have Pickens, if you look at the last game, there was 2 turnovers that the Ravens had that were just superhuman plays by the Steelers defense. I don't see them getting turnovers like that again. Let's get Derrick Henry back involved. Let's wear on this Steelers defensive line. If they don't have TJ Watt, that is even more of a disadvantage because Rosengarten, the rookie right tackle from the Ravens, he's having nightmares. Lane Johnson spoke about having nightmares all week about going against TJ Watt, and he's the best in the business. So if TJ Watt is out, and even if he isn't out, the Baltimore Ravens are winning this game, and Lamar is marching on. He's going to inch closer this week to Josh Allen in an MVP race as well.
Yeah, I'll speak on this rivalry a little bit. I was fortunate enough to get drafted by Tomlin and the Steelers and then start for the Ravens in the middle of my career. And so I was a part of this on both sides. And in my opinion, it's the best rivalry in sports. I mean, growing up in Pittsburgh and then playing for Pittsburgh and then being on the other side and being the villain, it was really cool for me. And, I grow up and I just felt like these 2 teams growing up, every time I watched it, they were the epitome of each other. They were the same teams, right? They drafted the same type of players. They wanted to play the same brand and style of football. And it was Roethlisberger versus Flacco. It was James Harrison versus Suggs. It was, it was Ray Lewis versus Palomalu, right? Like Ed Reed, right? It was all those matchups and it always came down to one game, usually at the end, and half the time they saw each other again in the playoffs. So for me, it was awesome to watch that rivalry. I think there's nothing like it. I think they bring the best out in each other. And you can put a clean sweep of graphics of the Ravens because the Ravens are going to beat the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game because I have not been a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense all year.
Yep.
And that same offense showed up again last week. I just don't think they're very good. I really don't. I think their offensive line's average at best. I think Russell's average at best. Can he make some plays? Sure. Can he throw a moon ball up and somebody make a play for him? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen this weekend? Absolutely not.
Say it like you mean it.